Good afternoon, everyone. So for today, our topic is proxemics. I'll share the screen so that we can start with it. Proxemics or space language. It's not actually the language that is spoken in space with aliens, but the space that you maintain when you speak to somebody. That's what proxemics is all about. So we had talked about kinesics. They are the non-verbal signals which are mutually understood by the sender and the receiver, and they may originate from many sources. Now, one important source of a non-verbal signal is space. The technical word for space is termed as proxemics. It is actually the study of communication by means of space. Space, I mean the distance. Space also actually decides your role in the organization, in the hierarchy in the organization. There's an example which is already there on our PowerPoint, but let me give you an example of college where we have been with the college for a year or so. If you take the example of the offices in which your professors sit, if you take the office of your professor, it would be a little smaller as compared to the office of your head of the department or the HOD. Now, if you see in the office of your faculty, a professor, there would be other people who are sharing the space. Whereas the office of your HOD is not shared by any other professor. There's only one person sitting there. Now, if you compare the office of Dean Sir with the office of your HOD, his office would be a little bigger. And then if you compare Dean Sir's office with the Provost Sir's office, it would be larger. Now that shows the hierarchy. Hierarchy means the important decision takers, how they work in an organization. So let's say if you are manager, your office space is smaller or your sitting area is smaller. If you are senior manager, it increases a little. And if you're above that, if you are the CEO, it is larger. If you are the owner of the place or the organization, it is more larger. So what I mean is the space actually indicates the decision making power that you hold in the organization, right? So the hierarchy means the arrangement of people in the organization. That's called a hierarchy. So this speaks a lot to us when we talk about the space that we take up or by which we are surrounded. As I mentioned, the office space is generally allotted on the basis of a person's position in an organization. Another simple example which is provided is the manager's office and the clerk's office. Right? So they are two different endpoints of the hierarchy. Actually, it also connection of space is also with the familiarity. Familiarity means how well you know the person. Let's take a simple example of a bus, or maybe if you are traveling in the college bus, you'd prefer to sit next to your friend and not next to a stranger. Let's say there are many seats which are empty and there is a seat where only one person is sitting, you'd prefer to sit on the empty seat. Now, if you see your friend on the same bus, even if there are many seats that are empty, you'd prefer to sit with your friend. So there are two things. So there are two things that affect the space. Space is affected by the position of a person in an organization, and it also has a connection, actually a direct connection, with familiarity or knowingness, that how well you know a person, right? So that's how space works. Now this is very important information. Please note down the names that are mentioned. The first name that you can note down is Edward T. Hall. That's the name of the author. And The Hidden Dimension is the name of the book. So as per Edward T. Hall, in The Hidden Dimension, so what has this person told us? That space is divided into 4 different zones. There are 4 different zones of space. So what are the 4 zones? The first zone is the intimate zone. Zone number 2, the personal zone. Zone number 3, the social zone. And zone number 4, the public zone. Now how do we measure? There are measurements given, right? The space is given to us in inches and feet. So here you are supposed to assume that you are in a circular formation or in a circle. You are the center of the circle, and this distance is between you. This distance is actually the radius, right? That so you are at the center, and this zone, this lines you can see at the periphery of the circle, or maybe it's actually the radius. That's the distance between the center and one of the points on the circle, right? So in the intimate zone, the distance would be from physical contact to 18 inches. See, please don't mix inches and feet over here. If you can see, there are 2 places where inches are mentioned, and then the rest is in feet. So please make sure you mention the correct measurement. Otherwise it will change the meaning, right? So for first zone, that is the intimate zone, for the first zone, that is the intimate zone, the distance that should be between you and the point on the circle should be 18, the maximum is 18 inches from physical contact to 18 inches. Second zone is the personal zone, where the distance would be 18 inches. It will range from 18 inches to 4 feet. The third zone is the social zone, where the distance would range from 4 feet to 12 feet. And then we have public zone, where the distance ranges from 12 feet to as far as you can see or hear, that is approximately 25 feet. Please make sure you do not change the chronology of the zones, that is the order. So you cannot have public zone first and personal zone last. So you have to maintain the order: intimate zone, personal zone, public social zone, and public zone. A simpler way of remembering the order should be IPSP. I stands for intimate zone, personal, P for personal zone, S for social zone, and again one more P is there for public zone. So these are the 4 zones. Now let's see in detail each of these zones. So the intimate space or intimate zone is actually this zone is for people who are very very close to you in your life. Let's say it would only have people who are your uh, family members, that is, it could include your parents, your siblings, that is your brothers and sisters, and your close friends. So we have many friends, but there are only few which you call your best friends or your close friends. So these are the people who are included, and then they can enter this space. This space is actually meant for highly confidential talks and decisions regarding sensitive matters. We are not very formal when we are speaking in this zone with people in this zone, and we don't make a lot of sound. It is just whispers or very very low pitch. uh, Handshaking, patting on the back, having proper eye contact are very commonly used in this space. So this is intimate space. A very simple example that we can take over here is a small child. So when a small child is crying, usually we give it in the hand of the mother. So when the mother picks the child, the child can recognize the touch of the mother, and the child starts pacifying, or the child stops crying at that moment. So this is what intimate space means. That's one simple example for intimate zone of space. Second is the personal zone. It extends a little further. So from 18 inches to 4 feet is what it extends. So it will include all your extended family, most of your friends, and your relatives. Here we'll have normal conversation with people. So the tone will be soft and normal. Here we have to behave a little formally as compared to the intimate zone. You cannot be informal in personal space. The third zone is the social zone. It extends from 4 feet to 12 feet. It includes all of the people that you are acquainted with, be it your neighbors, be it people in the society, or be it people in your business or organization. Here you have to be very formal and careful when you talk. You cannot speak everything right away. You have to talk very carefully, and you have to decide whether you reveal the information to everybody at that particular moment of time, or you don't do it. Here you need to use a little variation in being soft and being loud when you speak. So that's social zone. And the last zone is a public zone. This zone, actually, the zone itself, the name of the zone says it is public. It means it includes or is reserved for speakers who have to interact with mm, many unknown people along with known people. It extends beyond 12 feet. You have to use very high pitch of voice which a larger group of people can listen to. That means that you could either speak very loudly, or you have to make use of a microphone or a mic. In this space, communication has to be highly formal and objective. You cannot just speak whatever way you want to. You have to think, you have to speak, you might have to make changes in what you are thinking and what you are speaking. So public space is the highest formal zone where communication happens in the formal manner. Now why is space important? uh, why not we just not maintain space? Now I've got a small video clip which shows you why space is important. You can see what I'm talking about when I mean space. It's not about two people of the same gender talking, or two people of the opposite gender talking, but when proper space is not maintained, what happens? You can see in this small video that I have taken as an example. So I'm playing the video for you. Well, we do. Yeah. Come on up. Elaine, you don't have a problem with her, do you? We adore Elaine. She wants to say hi. She's with a new boyfriend. What's he like? He's nice. Bit of a close talker. You'll see.
अमेरिकी रिपोर्ट में दावा किया गया है कि अफ्रीका और यूरोप के देशों में मनी गेम के चलते अब चीन में रिपोर्ट में खुलासा हुआ कि चीन अपने प्लसदार मुल्कों में सैन्य अड्डे बनाकर वहां पेट्रोलिंग करता है और जहाजों के व्यापार में अड़ंगा लगाता है। और
मैम
अफ्रीका में भी चीन ने
हेलो
अपना
हेलो
सैन्य अड्डा
मैम
बना लिया। साल 2013 में चीन ने पूरी दुनिया में
So you can see that when you move too close into somebody's zones, when you cross a zone, the person moves back. That's an automatic reaction that anybody would give, be it people of the same gender or be it people of the opposite gender. Right, so we have a quiz question. You are supposed to arrange the 4 zones in the proper sequence. You can type your answer in the chat box. Very good. I've been getting answers, and you're absolutely correct. You've been listening attentively to what was being said. You're correct that the order should be D, C, B, A. So, short way of remembering the sequence was IPSP, as we had said: intimate zone, personal zone, social zone, and public zone. So please also remember the range of the distance. In the intimate zone, it's from physical contact to 18 inches. In personal zone, it is 18 inches to 4 feet. In social zone, it is from 4 feet to 12 feet, and in public zone, 12 feet to approximately 25 feet, as far as you can see or hear. So it's based on the visibility and hearing parts in case of the public zone. So this 4 zones are actually a part of a technical word called proxemics. Please remember the term proxemics. So next that we have is it's another part of non-verbal, which is known as vocalics or paralinguistic features. So you can make from the word itself, vocalics means it has something to do with voice. And so you are absolutely correct about assuming that this is about voice. So para means like, and that's why paralanguage or paralinguistic means like the language. It is actually associated very closely to verbal language because it is concerned with the way words are spoken. However, it is a non-verbal component because it does not use you actually don't use the words, but it is all about how you use the word, the how part, right? It is actually the study of human voice and how words are spoken. uh, we are very well aware that our voice is our trademark, it's our unique identity. We cannot change our voice, but we can train it to become better speakers. So here we are talking about how we can train ourselves to become better speakers. What aspects of voice should we keep in mind when we are speaking to become better speakers, right? So when you train your voice in a different way, it gives extra life to the words that you speak. There are different characteristics that we will study, like quality, volume, speed, stressing, pauses, and pronunciation. So I'll start with quality. See, we each have a unique quality of our voice, which we cannot change. It's a trademark that is different for each and every person, right? But we can always train it to become a little better. Let's say, for example, there are popular speakers like Abraham Lincoln, Winston Churchill, who trained themselves to become good speakers. Next is the volume part. Just a minute, there is some student who's trying to join. Please wait. Next is volume. Volume plays a vital role when we are communicating. So the whether we are supposed to speak loudly or softly depends on the situation and the place where you are uh, speaking. Let's take a simple example that of a classroom. When you are sitting in the classroom of 60 people, then the professor who is speaking or taking the lecture is a little louder. So when the same professor teaches you in the lab session where the number of people reduces, He becomes a little softer when he is speaking. He does not have to be as loud as he or she has to be in the lecture sessions, right? So it depends on the space. If the space is small and we speak too loudly, it would be unpleasant to the audience. If the space is large and we speak very softly, then the audience will not be able to listen to us and thus would lose interest. So that is why the volume part is actually depending upon the place where you speak, the space in which you speak. Is it big or is it small, right? So when you're talking to your friends in the canteen, your volume would be louder, but when you are the same person when you visit your professor in his or her office, the volume reduces. That is, you manage. We have been doing it, but this is what we need to understand, that this is what we do, right? So the next aspect of paralinguistic is speed, or the pace or the rate at which we speak. It is highly necessary to maintain the speed in which you speak, because speaking does not mean that you just have to dump the information on the listener. You want the listener to understand. You want the listener to mark up important information and retain the information, remember the information. So that's why the pace of your speed should be moderate, not too fast and not too slow. Then stressing on different kind of words. Now, a proper stress on proper word creates good emphasis. When you stress on words, it means that this is the word you want the audience to remember, right? So proper word stress plays a vital role in communication. So there's a statement. Again, we have a small question here. The volume in communication plays a vital role. So is this statement true or false? Yes, Anish, you have raised your hand. You have a question, or you want to answer this question? True. Yes, correct. So, volume, as I said, plays a very important role in communication. So, next, important part of paralanguage or paralinguistic is pauses. So, the breathing space that a speaker has is termed as pauses. Pauses are of significant importance in oral speaking. They not only give a resting time to the speaker, but they also give absorbing time to the listener. Right? So if I keep on talking and talking without pauses, then information which is spoken vanishes away, and the listener might not be able to retain information. That is important portions. Right? So it's actually, why do we pause? We give the time to the listener to understand what we are speaking, to make the listener aware about the important parts. Let's say today's our topic is proxemics. So a little pause of 15 to 30 seconds. When I say pauses, we're not standing or sitting quiet for 2-3 minutes. It's measured in small seconds. So you remember, okay, we are going to deal with proxemics. That's the word. If it's a new word or a new terminology, pauses help the listeners to remember the topics better. When you pause, you also try to attract the attention of the listener. Pauses also help you to find out and look at the audience and try and understand the audience, whether they have understood or they have not understood. Right? So pauses are really important because they help us out with the stuff that's happening. I'll give you a very simple example about a sponge. So when water is spilled and we try to put a sponge or a cloth over it, it takes a few seconds before absorbing the water. So the human brain is like that sponge or like that piece of cloth. You need a few seconds to absorb the information that is passed on to you. That is why pauses are of significance or significant importance when you are communicating orally. Next, pronunciation. Pronunciation is a very important aspect of speaking, oral communication. Why? There are different kind of pronunciations. Like the same word is pronounced differently from person to person, from region to region, and from country to country. But we should follow the pronunciation that is generally. There was a technical issue, right? So I'll continue from where we were at. We were at pronunciations. So pronunciation, bad pronunciation would make the person confused. Let's take a simple example of the word education. Most of us generally pronounce it as education, but the correct pronunciation, according to the British system of pronouncing, it is education. Right? So it's okay to say education. The pronunciation is widely accepted. That is why we don't want to create a confusion in the mind of the person. And so, a proper pronunciation is what is accepted. What are the advantages of paralanguage? Paralanguage actually gives, I suppose there's somebody whose mic is on. So paralanguage is important because it would add a little flair to your speaking. Your speaking skills are improvised by paralanguage. Oral communication becomes monotonous and boring if you do not have a flair of paralanguage into it, or you are not using this aspects of paralanguage. Some of its limitations are paralanguage is similar to language, but it means that you cannot 100% rely on it. It's just an additional, an add-on to your language skills. Moreover, speakers who speak from belong to different communities also speak differently because of their own cultural background and their surroundings. Your surroundings and your cultural background would have a effect or impact on your paralanguage. Right. So that is it for today. There were the two topics that we had. One was proxemics, that is the language of space. How much distance you should keep when you are speaking, you being the center of a circle and the other person at a point in the circle which is equal to the radius of the circle. Second, paralinguistic features or vocalics. How can you train yourself to become better speakers with the help of this vocal attributes that you can use? So these are our two topics. Do we have any doubts or any questions? Any doubts? It's a yes and no question. No doubts, right? So we all know that if you don't have a doubt, then we have a quiz. So I'll paste the link of the quiz in the chat box and you can attempt your quiz. Give me a moment. I'm giving you the link for your quiz. So you have your link for the quiz and you can start attempting your quiz right away. Please click on the second link which I have sent. That's the quiz that you have to attempt for today's session. I can see 6 of you have already attempted the quiz. We're waiting for the rest of you to complete it. We're waiting for a few more minutes for the rest of you to complete it. 11 people have completed it. Only 6 more people pending. Quickly complete it so that we can finish with the test. By the time the 6 people complete the test, I'll take the attendance. I'll call out the enrollment numbers and you can write yes in the type box. So it's 18 series, 14. I'm taking the attendance.
Yes.
Now I'm talking about the 19 series, enrollment number 1,
Yes, ma'am.
2,
Yes, ma'am.
3,
Yes, ma'am.
4,
Yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Present.
7,
Yes, ma'am.
8, 9,
Yes, ma'am.
10,
Yes, ma'am.
11,
Yes, ma'am.
12.
Present.
Bhavik, you're present? Yeah, you can see. 13,
Yes, ma'am.
14,
Yes, ma'am.
15,
Yes, ma'am.
16,
Present.
17,
Yes, ma'am.
18,
Yes, ma'am.
19,
Yes, ma'am.
21, 22,
Yes, ma'am.
and 23.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. 21.
I'll speak out the absent numbers. If you have missed, you
No,
can
ma'am.
tell me.
21.
Yeah, I'm speaking out the absent numbers. You can tell me.
21, ma'am.
Yeah, that's absent or that's present? Present.
Present. 21.
Yeah, I get it. I've marked your presence. If you are unable to complete the test, kindly complete it within 10 minutes. Good to see everybody has completed it. Very nice. So in the next session, we'll be talking about intercultural and interpersonal communication. You can note down the two words and read a little about it. The first word is, I'm typing it out in case you want to note the words. So one is interpersonal communication and the next is intercultural communication. So these are the two words that we'll be dealing with.